The year is 2002. Larry Holmes has been from the top to the bottom and every which way in between. But after 30 years in professional boxing, the legend himself wants to put on an unforgettable show between himself, a mythical hero of old, and a genetic freak by the name of etched with a record of 65-2. Can the Easton assassin pull out his trusty marksman rifle of a left jab and show that power, ring IQ, and resilience never leaves? Or will the younger, bigger Butterbean make squash out of a fighter past his ripeness and get the best victory of his career so far? Welcome back to Boxing After Dark. Today, we're going to be breaking down what many believe to be a freak show fight of the early 2000s between a past great that many regarded was past his prime 15 years prior and a big tumbling giant who was seen as little more than a big man who could beat down little threats. Let's get into it. Larry Holmes was 74 fights into his career and an undeniable great of the heavyweight division. From his quick, concise come-up, which saw him win the WBC heavyweight title after a brutal battle between him and Ken Norton. Soon after winning his title and some strong title defenses, Larry would defend himself against the greatest Muhammad Ali in a fight that would unfortunately make him the villain of the heavyweight division for decades to come, with a reputation still soured till this day. With Muhammad being clearly affected by his physical disabilities and having to take every pill under the sun just to look healthy, many struggled to look at Holmes' demolition of a hero. Still, alas, the victory was prophesied and accomplished. Holmes would continue his heavily publicized demolition of the heavyweight division and knock every contender off their block, snatching their O's all the while.
If I don't get an offer from Michael Spinks by end of April, I retire.
Holmes would berate the fighter during the lead-up for his 49th fight against the older brother of Leon Spinks, a former champion who Holmes himself had already viciously knocked out in his prime.
To lose to light heavyweight champion, I mean, that would be a shame, wouldn't it? That Larry Holmes, saying he's the greatest fighter of all, lose to a light heavyweight? No, I'm not going to lose. That's gone. It's not even in my mind.
And in a cruel twist of fate, it seemed Holmes' cockiness and karma had caught up with him through the sweet taste of brotherly revenge, and he finally lost his title after a truly magnificent 19 title defenses. Holmes' latter career was as up and down as a seesaw, yet always entertaining and infinitely respectable. But now came his final rebirth. The assassin was back for one last roll of the dice against the big barreling beast known as Butterbean. Etched was a character unlike the world had ever seen. When looking at a record more extensive than the waistline of Eric, 65-2, you'd have to assume Butterbean had defeated some worthy or at least talented adversary, correct? Well, sadly not. Outside of his first-round knockout over the relatively weak contender Peter McNeely, who was most famous for being Mike Tyson's first knockout since his release from prison, Eric had sadly beat mostly unknown fighters with more losses than wins and questionable chins at best.
So I'm just going to go out there and throw punches. I'm just going out winging. I mean, I don't know how it's going to turn out, but we're going out there just throwing a lot of punches.
But if there's one thing you can guarantee with a man like Butterbean, it was his incredible knockout power. It wasn't uncommon to see his opponents on the canvas within 1 minute of his bouts, and his tall, imposing figure likely frightened his prey enough to where his fight would be over before the bell had even rung. The bout was held in the Scope Complex of Norfolk, Virginia, and as the two fighters made their way to the ring, the crowd would go wild for the great personalities in front of them. With a scheduled 10 rounds ahead of them, the most Butterbean had ever accepted, usually refusing to go past 4, the two fighters touch gloves as the referee recounts the rules and the bell rings.
Some jitters early too, so here we go. Larry Holmes dancing around. Holmes said to us earlier he thinks this is a 3-round fight.
And then can put in a second, third, and fourth jab had in the other fights.
Landing and punching. Now see, when he gets on the inside, Butterbean can land a few things. He lands an overhand right to the head of Holmes.
A long time if he's a back.
I think Holmes started out looking like, oh, there's the right.
Round one begins, and Larry stays cautious of Butterbean's power as he moves around the ring effectively despite nearing his mid-50s.
Throwing, neither man throwing much, and actually the crowd getting on him a little bit right now. About a minute left to go. All respect with the
Motioning for Holmes to come in.
knock him out. With right hand, overhand right. Did Holmes, but it was short. That one got there.
Right hand lead.
Round. And we're heading into round 4. Larry Holmes in the white trunks, Butterbean in the stars and stripes.
He would land one shot and effectively turn the fight and end it.
Holmes controlling this round. It's kind of like watching a Nero wolf.
Larry Holmes gets the jab in. Butterbean has to regroup. His right hand without weight.
There's a little swelling and some redness around the left eye of Butterbean.
And it makes him have to gamble more.
Eye of Larry Holmes. Here comes Butterbean. He's wailing away now.
The redness is a target.
Holmes sees the 5th round as his best so far, landing his jab at will and using his slightly better reach to his advantage. Butterbean struggles to unload any of his power and makes a mockery of himself among one of the greatest heavyweights in history, as expected.
So we head into round number 6. We're past the halfway point in this 10-rounder. Good jab by Butterbean. Wow.
For Butterbean.
Butterbean is emboldened, and now he's got Holmes in the corner. Holmes a swelling, big right hand by Holmes. Butterbean is now way past the territory he's ever been in. Right hand gets in by Larry Holmes, and he steps away. Right hand gets in by Holmes. Came in here with the idea of a...
But Larry Holmes is very good on his timing. Movement, has the right hand behind Butterbean. He has to close ground cheaply and then try to get off.
That could have that nice right hand by Holmes. Halfway through this round, they have not really done much. There's another one. So we head into round 9, and if you didn't hear it, Murray Sutherland said to Larry Holmes, or to Butterbean, you have to knock this man out. The only way you're going to do it is by going after him. Two-year-old king of the 4-rounders is in the 9th round. He's never been that far.
Whole thing for this fight for Butterbean was
put it back. So he's going backwards and taking 2 strong. Now Larry Holmes is really nailing him with the jabs.
Forrest has so many different ways to fight.
And I hear Butterbean backs in the corner, hoping that he can force Holmes to make a mistake and he can nail him. I guess that's the reason for this.
This is his highest or second. This is the place that had to try to take his career.
May I add, one's better than Butterbean. Look bad. He's doing it again tonight, but here comes Butterbean. Good jab, and Holmes moves away from the right hand. Butterbean lands a couple of right hands. He's flailing away. Holmes with his hand on the ropes, just trying to parry whatever Butterbean throws and not get hit with the Butterbean head. And there comes the right hand from Holmes. It's coming, folks. Oh, that's the, oh my. Well, it didn't hurt Butterbean. He will go out a winner. Oh, left hook. Sends Holmes down. That's called a knockdown appropriately. Sends him against the ropes, and that's the appropriate call by the referee.
Ends with a little bit more curiosity.
So, an interesting moment. Larry Holmes, we think probably won this fight. Butterbean's walking around the ring saying that he won it.
Ladies and gentlemen, courtesy of Daryl DeCroy Promotions, we go to the scorecards. 98, 91, 96, 93, 97, 92. All for the winner by unanimous decision. The boxing legend, former heavyweight champion of the world, the Eastern Assassin, Larry Holmes.
Larry celebrated his well-deserved victory before promptly announcing his retirement.
Like after the Butterbean fight, what made that your last fight?
I don't know. I just didn't want to do it no more, I guess. You know, I get up in the morning and I run all these miles and run back, and then I can't pick up the Budweisers. You know, I guess all of that, not wanting to do it and getting tired of my wife not wanting me to do it.
Holmes is kept busy but is forever grateful of his incredible career. Despite being shunned in his time due to his bout with Ali and controversial comments on Mike Tyson and Marciano during the downfall of his career, There has been somewhat of a resurgence of love for the great from Easton in recent times due to his newfound humbleness from his appearance on Mike Tyson's animated TV show, Mike Tyson Mysteries, and his overall demeanor of his past career and the retrospective respect he gives to the incredible fighters he's fought. If you've enjoyed this video and would like to see more from us here at Boxing After Dark, feel free to subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to drop a like and comment. Thanks for watching.